Ladies and gents, how you doing? I covered this on my stream yesterday, so I'll try not to repeat myself. But there's more to talk about because obviously you are an inhabitant of Diddler Island. We covered that at length yesterday. There are more kiddie fiddlers per square mile in the UK than anywhere else on Earth. I'm certain of it. Gary Glitter and his mates in Vietnam. They must be like, whoa, you don't want to go back to the UK, they're all perverts over there. It's unbelievable. We are sorely led, ladies and gentlemen. The House of Parliament and the House of Lords, both of those detestable buildings, want reducing to rubble. Yeah, but again, throw the rubble in a volcano, salt the earth, build multi-storey car parks on them, pretend they never existed. That's how bad it is in 2026. All that proud history wiped out because we are led by the dregs of humanity. Anyway, rant over. Here's the story I want to talk about. Lani doubting, essence of woman, by the way. There's a splendid English rose. Why didn't Harry start shafting someone like that? All that he could have had the pick of the litter, that lad. And instead, he ends up conker deep in some yo-yo knickered divorcee with a fanny like a yawning hippopotamus. Sorry, where was I? Lani Dowding shared this from Peter Lloyd. It said, in 2022, Labour MP Nazir Ahmed was convicted of the obvious with a young lad aged 9 in Rotherham. And we all know how much diddling went on in Rotherham. That's like ground zero diddler. Anyway, he was originally jailed for 3.5 years. Ludicrous. Ludicrous. However, this sentence was quietly reduced to just 6 months on appeal. The appeal judges were all Labour voting Liberals. Of course they were. The most pro-sex pest people on God's green earth, that lot. Anyway, I already flipped my lid about this during a live stream yesterday, but I thought I'd do my due diligence and make sure that, Twitter, anyone can tweet anything out, snip stuff, doctor them. So I thought I'll at least Google it, have a good read, make sure I'm giving you some accurate information. And that's what we're going to do. I'm also going to cover a mind-blowing story about this fat, warty deviant. Unbelievable. Unbelievable what these people have been up to. So I'll talk about that as well and play your video. That's what we're talking about. Strap yourselves in. This is the return to Diddler Island. If you're easily upset or you live next door to a British politician, please turn off now and then retreat to a lockable room and then grab something heavy and sharp and wedge it up your dirt box and pray for deliverance from your next door neighbour. Do they make chastity belts for blokes, do they? Right then, this piece is in The Guardian. I can confirm it to be true. The Guardian lies, but they can't make this stuff just disappear into the ether, can they? It says, Peer Nazir Ahmed had his jail term cut by 3 years. So they worded it slightly ambiguously, hoping that, you wouldn't read on. You wouldn't read on. You'd read it and you might think, well, he got sentenced to 29 years. Who cares if they cut 3 years off the sentence? Yeah, well, if you thought that, you live in a country where they actually punish people for doing the worst crimes imaginable. Because obviously, when they reduced his sexual assault sentence by 3 years, they did indeed reduce it to 6 months. 6 months. It's even, I can't read you that out. I can't read you that out in yellow. Just read it. 6 months for the obvious with a little boy. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Drive round his house, drag him out of it, drag him out of his hole and throw him in the cells again. I cannot believe this man is walking the streets after that. It says he was convicted in January 2022 of 3 sex crimes. Now he's 65, so he was jailed for 5.5 years. They cut it on appeal to 2.5 years after concluding that the trial judge fell into error. They gave the judge a bollocking because he gave him 5.5 years for rogering a 9-year-old. Yeah, I'll put the link in the description. It beggars belief. You have to read this stuff yourself to believe it. Who in the general public thinks doing that to a 9-year-old boy should warrant in anything less than 30 years in prison? Even lifelong Labour voters, You find me some Geordie scaffolder, an old shipwright from Sunderland who's voted Labour for 40 years. You find me one who thinks a bloke who does that to a 9-year-old should get off with 5.5 years in prison, because I can't even think of any screaming lefties who think that's a good idea. You're ruled over by people who have nothing in common with the general public. As I said, you live in a police state. Mr. Lavender had given him 3.5 years, which is insane in and of itself. But he said, they'd all run concurrently, and then he challenged the sentencing decision, and the appeal judges cut the 3.5 term to just 6 months. There you go. So, staggeringly, this is factually accurate, right? I hope your mind's been blown by that, and you're now well onto your way to founding a vigilante team of elite superheroes who can become caped crusaders and deliver justice that the government and the politicians and the lawyers and the coppers and the judges won't give you, because that's unbelievable. And it gets better. It gets better, ladies and gentlemen. This is from an interview with Don Keith and Andrew Bridgen, so I would think it's a good source. Andrew Bridgen is a well-known elected official. This isn't some random weirdo in a Hawaiian shirt with a big beard in his mum's basement. And David Atherton is a reputable source. I played it in full yesterday during a live stream. If you want to watch the whole thing, go back and watch it. I'll put a link in the description. For now, though, I'll just give you the 30 seconds of particular interest. Remember Nick Brown, the big fat warty diddler that I showed you at the beginning of the video. He was and is the longest serving chief whip of the Labour Party. He's up there. He's right up there. He served under Starmlin, Blair, Brown, Corbyn, Miliband, the lot. He is like one of the top dogs in the Labour Party. Check this out.
So he was underage, but it was such a brutal engagement.
Yes,
and so violent that this kid's got to wear a colostomy bag for the rest of his life. Did you hear that?
Yes, unfortunately I did. Yes.
Yeah. I but the worst part of it to me is now I'm finding out there's potentially either a super injunction or a gag order on either members of parliament or the media for nobody to talk about it. So basically, this guy's being protected in these heinous acts against this young boy.
Yeah, okay, we can't listen to most of this because it'll get me banned even repeating some of this. So I'll try and give you the clean abridged version, right? This guy, one of the top dogs in the Labour Party, top man, pumped and dumped a juvenile, yeah? He was under the age of 16, and he gave him the good news so thoroughly, he'll have to wear a bag for the rest of his life, like severe medical issues the rest of his life, and he was a child, and this fella, the Right Honourable Nick Brown, yeah, Right Honourable, he's 2 steps below Peter Sutcliffe, as far as I'm concerned, this fella. If a family emergency came up and I had to leave the kids with either A, Nick Brown, the Right Honourable, or B, Sutty Sutcliffe, I'd pick Peter. He never went after little kids, did he? He was only after prosies. So, Mr. Brown, I'm locking all the doors and keeping the kids in with Sutty. Thanks all the same, Nick. And then the cherry on top, apparently took out super injunctions, gagging orders, the lot, to keep it all quiet. But everyone in the Labour Party knew about it, and Corbyn and Starmlin and Millipede and Gordon Brown and Tony Anthony Blair, they'll have all knew about it, and everyone in Westminster will know about it, and the BBC and Channel 4 and Sky News will know about it. This guy, full-blown diddler, destroyer of children's lives and our souls, and you've been paying his wages for the last 50 years. Nice one. So I'll leave it there. I'll put the links in the description. Check them out at your own risk. I hope you haven't got a weak disposition if you're going to listen to that in full. And let me know what you think in the comments down below. Seriously, I can't believe what's going on in the UK. I was taking the piss out of Labour 2 weeks ago, saying Starmer was just going to have to ride it out until he got another 4 or 5 scandals. I didn't think they'd come this thick and fast. It's unbelievable. The man is a sloshing portaloo of a human being. He is the worst Prime Minister in British history, and it appears that the Labour Party, in its current manifestation, is the worst nest of kiddie fiddlers that you'll find this side of the equator. It's Unbelievable. Let me know what you think, as always, in the comments. Don't forget to check the links out. Mind-blowing stuff. I'm off for the weekend. I'm going back to LA. So I'm going to electrify my car and hopefully keep the tramps from climbing on my vehicle and spitting on a shit-covered rag and wiping it across the windscreen and then expecting money for it. I shit you not, that happens in Los Angeles. So I'll be doing that all weekend. Marvellous. I hope you lot have a good Saturday and Sunday. Have a drink, keep your chins up, enjoy yourselves. We're going to hell in a handbasket. You might as well try and enjoy proceedings. And I'll see you all on Monday. All right, thanks for tuning in. See you soon. Toodle pip. Cheers.